pull me low. With their heavy hands and bitter words, they thought they'd steal my show. But I was born in thunder, pain and fire deep inside. Rise back up, a stronger man, no matter how many times they tried. Unbreakable, unshakable, unbreakable, unshakable.
Jerks. Good evening. Good evening. It's been a long day. It's been a long couple days. Hopefully, tomorrow we'll get some final testimony, it sounds like, in the Kelsey Fitzsimmons trial. We've been covering this the last couple days. We streamed it. We've done we did a panel show last night. We've covered this for quite a while. Tomorrow, it looks like they're going to close up testimony. And it looks like Thursday is actually the final day. Thursday would be the final statements from both sides, it looks like. So it looks like this could wrap up on Thursday, not Friday. I was hoping to have some panelists tonight. I'm not sure what's going to happen because I did throw out some links last minute. Some of the panelists I had to cancel, actually. And some, I've messaged a lot of panelists about the next couple nights and wanted to make sure we had good coverage on each night. So some people are doing Thursday and Wednesday night. Tomorrow night, we have Todd McGee, definitely confirmed here, retired Mass State Police tomorrow night. And on Thursday, we have attorney Nan Gallagher and attorney Andrew Myers. It's going to be fun. So we got some big shows upcoming. Jay Brill said he's coming on tonight. I should send him a message. That's a good idea, actually. I'll send Jay Brill a little message just to make sure he got the link. I sent it to JFK, actually, but like I said, everything's last minute tonight. I'm actually not expecting any panelists to show up. I have no legit confirmations, if I'm being honest right now. But you never know who might jump on. I figured what we would do in the meantime is to kind of replay, like we were earlier, replay the testimony today. Because I thought today's testimony, you got cops on the stand. And that's really what I want to review is the cops on the stand tonight. Let me send Jabrill a message, though. Make sure. If we can get him up, I would love to have him up. He was in court today. Of course, I put Jabrill. Jason. All right, hold on. There we go. All right, now you're watching me live invite people on the show. He's in the chat right now. Okay. He's here. Yeah, I wasn't looking at the chat. I was looking at our Facebook Messenger. Another window open. Well, I was sending Jay Brill a message in Facebook Messenger if he wants to come up. No pressure. Jay Brill is in the chat. Awesome. And we also got JFK in the chat, maybe? Oh, you asked everyone. Thank you so much, Deirdre. Thank you. Oh, we got Jay Brill. We do. So we do have a panel It's a panel. It's a panel of one tonight. What's up, sir? How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm fucking a little tired. Like I said, I've been working all day. I did radio, I did dog walks, and I did YouTube streaming since this morning till now. And I've just been going, going, going.
Yeah, I
And people are
noticed.
asking me why I'm not in court. I'm like, I'm working 3 jobs over here. Yeah, I think I got enough. I think I got enough. Well, how you were in court today though? So, how
I
was your day?
was.
Tell us about what you want to talk about Kelsey, anyways.
It was good. I made it there on time, and then I lost my seat after break, and then I made it back in on after lunch. So it was good.
You were breaking up a little
Um,
bit there. Go ahead.
you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your audio. You know what? You might want to jump out and jump back in. Your audio sounds a little wonky. I'm wondering if the chat. Can you guys hear him? It sounds a little wonky.
How about now?
It sounds better actually. For a second here.
Let me jump out. I'll jump right back in.
Okay. Sometimes that helps. Yeah, I want to know what you think about Brado right now. I know as soon as we could start hearing him fine, he jumps out right. I might have spoke too quickly. God damn. He'll come back. Oh, I'm too low right now? I'll turn myself up. I'll turn myself up. And maybe it's my headphones too, because I turned them down earlier. That could be it. Could be all my issue. Yeah, that's of course why. All right. Jay Brill, come on back up. It's my issue. There we go. I think it was my issue actually. Over here, they're telling me.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can hear you bright and you're
I
loud now. I
can't
gotta
hear
turn
you.
it down now. We can hear you very well. So how was your day in court today? Oh, you're muted. For some reason you're muted. You got muted there for a second. You were loud and clear and then you got muted, Jay Brill. You got to unmute. StreamYard is fucking with us all today. I swear to God. I was having issues on my phone app today, big time. For some reason, Jay Brill, your audio went off. You might have to jump in and jump out again. I don't know. It was loud and clear for a second. This is funny. This is doing live StreamYard. This is what we deal with. You never know what's gonna work out or what's not. There we go. Maybe he'll come back and the audio will work. Come on, third time's the charm. Law Talker said, I missed the whole day except chat filling me in a bit. Glad to be free tonight. Looking forward to Jay Brill. Last night was great. If we can get him on. StreamYard's not cooperating with us so far. I'm just reading the chat now. How's my volume now? Is it too loud? I felt like it was too loud over the court audio today. So I may turn it back down actually. Unless Jay Brill comes up. Which it looks like we might have lost him. Maybe he was having some reception issues. Sounded good for a second there. All right, let's just play a little video. This was what it was about. I think rewatching it for all of us because sometimes we don't catch everything the first time through unless we rewind it. And this is our rewind for a lot of us tonight. And some people missed some of the, or didn't watch it today. Or like Sheila, she missed after lunch. I missed certain parts today too. I took a couple phone calls. It's hard to watch everything when you're on the phone. And then I did a radio interview. I think that was actually on lunch break though. But I didn't even get to eat today. I had finally made some chicken wings, but that was nothing. That was like a snack. But let's play some video because this is the most important part of the video really today is from the two cops. I feel like there was actually, I think 3 cops, but 2 of them especially. Jay Brill, you back? Can you hear us? Yeah, it seems like you're getting bad reception. Sometimes StreamYard doesn't work good when you're remote, unfortunately. I've experienced it before. Your mic is on. Maybe we have you. Are you live, Jay? Oh, then it went off again. It goes on, it goes off. Telling you, StreamYard's been acting wonky today, too. Yeah, Jay Brill's muted again. Oh, you're there now. I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's up on speaker.
You're,
I can
you're
hear you a little
now?
bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right.
So how was today? Did you sit for the whole day of court?
I went in at 8:30. I found a seat. At break, they told me that we had to clear the courtroom. So I left literally for like 5 minutes. I came back and my seat was taken. And I there was no other seats in there, so I went and was listening to your live. And then I went on James live. I went on his show for a few because he asked me to go on. Told him what was going on then, and then I ended up being like one of the first ones back in after lunch, so I got a good seat.
So there was a lot of people there. Then it sounds like they filled.
Yeah, it was a packed house. It was a full house.
And there was no drama today. No one said any shit today.
Nope, nope. I talked to like 1 or 2 of the ladies that there was an issue with last time I went, and I apologized to them, and I told them that's not me, but it had to be done. So, but we're not gonna touch on that. I have no way I want to talk about that person, so I'm not giving him content.
What did you think about the testimony today? I mean, we saw Noonan on the stand with Bradel. How do you think Bradel did? And how do you think Noonan did?
Noonan messed up. He messed up. I messed up. He got caught in lies a couple of times. You know, I just with Bradel, I don't feel Bradel's coming out swinging. It's like, do better, bro. You got this woman that you're defending, and yeah, the judge might be it seems like he's like more lenient to him, but you got to go out swinging. We don't know what's going to be the outcome of this case. You don't want to give them any type of chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Are you feeling pessimistic for Kelsey right now?
Meaning, what are you asking me? You there? You there?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you again. It's difficult. Yeah, I think we have tech issues today. I was just wondering how you feeling about Kelsey right now in terms of guilt or innocence, or what this judge is going to decide.
I think she's gonna
That
get
seems
found not guilty.
really
I think she's gonna get found not guilty.
wow. And why do you think that?
From the inconsistencies between their stories, you know, it's Noonan said this, but didn't say this. That could have helped Kelsey, but Brado brought it out. You know, like that. What's his name? The last cop that testified. What was his name?
I think that was Tim. Oh, what the hell was his last name? Tim
Beginning
something.
with an H, right?
Yeah.
Well, he was all quiet, like he didn't even want to testify. But in the beginning of his testimony, I feel like, I don't know, he didn't want to be there. They had to tell him to speak up a couple times,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he didn't look
and
good.
I think
His name's Houston, Officer Houston. He
Houston,
was
yeah,
like,
I feel
I'm
like
like, he's only been there 5 years, and that's how, like, he was like depressing. It was just not, that was not a good
he
look.
was like a Dever. You know,
Yeah.
he wanted to tell the truth, but he was forced to lie. That's what I got from him.
Yeah. Totally.
You know,
Totally.
you could just tell by actions, bro. The way people
Yeah.
talk, the way they look. He like he just he rather had not been there. You could just tell he did not want to be there testifying today.
He had his head down. It was just the monotone. They kept telling him to speak up. Even when he said his name, he couldn't even speak up.
Right. So,
Yeah.
we still got I feel like the trial's gonna be done Thursday.
Yep.
Because tomorrow they're gonna do the visit at the residence where it happened.
In the morning.
And yeah, they said that I think they might have one more short witness to call for the prosecution, and then
Yep.
they're gonna close. They're gonna be done. They're gonna close, and then they're gonna go do the view, and then I can't see Brado bringing up more than the parents, and maybe one or two more people, and I kind of feel like Kelsey's going to testify. I feel that way. I've been feeling that way. I hope she does, but I really feel like she's gonna, and then it's gonna be over. They're gonna bring it to the judge.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. That's the big question. Is she going to testify? A lot of people think she won't. Other people think she will. Some people think she definitely should. Others say
I think
no.
she has to.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
be
Dan
honest with
says.
you. I think she has to testify because she's gonna contradict everything Noonan says. And I don't see her lying about it because she already said, everything that she could have lied about came out. She tried to kill herself, dude. Her whole life got taken in 10 seconds.
Right.
She had nothing to want to live for. And I told the women in the spaces that I was on that if you look at her give, send, go, on the bottom, she wrote a big article. And it tells like pretty much her side. And once she reveals that in open court, I think it's a wrap. You got to read it,
Think it,
bro. It's crazy.
do you think it opens her up against the DA's office, though, to ask a lot of probing questions and to kind of go after her mental health?
I don't think so because she admitted she had postpartum depression. She admitted she tried to get help immediately, and the system failed her. You know, she's still, to my knowledge, she's still doing what she has to do to get her head right, to get rid of that postpartum and deal with it. You're never getting rid of it, but to deal with it. And she wants to reunite with the best thing that she's ever done in her life and made that baby. And she wants to be with that baby. I think that baby is going to keep her, postpartum free. That's what I feel. That baby is going to keep her sane enough to get rid of that postpartum, and he's going to heal her. So that baby needs his mother, and that mother needs her baby at the end of the day, because that's what's going to heal her.
One of our commenters pointed out, Bradle said she will tell you in his opening. It almost seems like he has to put her on the stand if the judge is noticing that, right?
Yep. I heard the interview after court. It was very short, very sweet, and that question was brought up, and he kind of made a joke about it. So he said you got to ask Coakley, the other attorney, Martha Coakley, if Kelsey's going to testify, and they said that we'll see when the time comes. She has to. If she wants to get found not guilty for sure, she has to testify. Like I said, I already feel like she's going to get found not guilty, but if she wants to get definitely found not guilty, I think she has to testify.
Funny because I'm reading the statement right now. Someone had sent me the statement that you talked about that Kelsey posted on her Give Send Go. And at the end, she says, I packed bags containing baby food, clothes, diapers, toys. That came up today. And I
It
think
came up in the
that
opening
came up
too.
yesterday. Yeah, it came up yesterday. And I think that points to when she was handing those bags to Noonan and saying, take these, that was showing her intent. She was trying to get him away from
Right.
the action, not to
She
do
didn't
harm
want
to
them
him.
to witness what she wanted to do to herself,
Yeah.
because it would have caused worse PTSD, worse trauma, and she knows after witnessing that call she went on with the murder suicide of the mother and the 9-month-old, he has a family to live for. She don't want him to witness what she wanted to do, and like, I feel like he had an agenda. At the end of the day, I feel, and this is my opinion, that he had an agenda. He knew it was going to turn left, and he was willing to do whatever he had to do. And I really feel like that kid's parents may have influenced it.
Totally. Me too. I think that's definitely a good theory. I don't think it's going to get brought up in court about his family and him because it's really secondary. Because I think in the end, it doesn't even matter how you feel about his testimony. The fact that he has a conflict of interest. Because
Hmm.
if he did wrong, he has a clear conflict of interest to protect himself. And he's the only witness. That's like
Exactly.
really the only evidence they have against her. Like everything
Bro,
else is just none of it matters. All that matters is what he says versus what she says in the end for
listen, I'm
me.
going to tell you, I don't know if I already said this in this live on your live, but there is no way in hell, and I will tell this to his face, that you could not have tackled her before
No,
thinking about shooting her. You could have took her
totally.
to the ground. There's no way in hell you're going to pull a gun at somebody or to your head, whichever way, because I'll get to that point in a second. But if the gun's going to jam and you're going to do what he said, tap rack, you have enough time right there
Yeah,
to tackle her. You're friggin'
I'm
7 feet
already,
from her.
yeah, I'm there. I would be there in a half a second to a second. Like that doesn't take. You're just instantly, especially when you've done wrestling or boxing or martial arts training, and he's done that shit. So like it's in your
He was
DNA.
a
It's
he
like
was a
riding a bike.
SWAT. He was in
You
SWAT.
don't. Yeah, you don't forget that stuff. You know how
You
to do
don't.
it. It's like once you do it, it's just there. It's like you don't even think about it. You don't even think. It
Right.
just happens.
It just
It's
comes
like your
natural.
body just yeah, it's like when you're driving a car to work every day, and then let's say you're going to grandma's on Saturday, but you're spacing out and you're driving the car and you start to drive to work instead of grandma's, even though you're supposed to be
Yep.
going to grandma's. That's what it does to
Oh
you.
shit,
It's
where am I
just
going?
yeah, because you're just programmed.
Right.
That's what practicing martial arts and wrestling and boxing does to you. It just becomes you don't think about it. It happens. It's just reaction. It just boom. And
Listen,
yeah,
and you
especially
know what
somebody
else
like that
too?
size difference. That size difference. Come on.
You know what else too? He said in the courtroom. He said that shot simultaneously, pop, pop. And then all of a sudden, when he brought out that he told the state trooper that he shot, then yelled at Kelsey, and then shot again, and he's like, same thing. No, it's not the same thing. You pop, pop, and then pop, Kelsey, pop. It's not, and that's another thing that Houston said. He only heard Noonan call Kelsey and then heard the shots. Pop, pop, not pop, and then hesitate and then pop. So right there just told you the whole truth. He didn't have any intentions but to shoot her. My opinion.
Houston too, because I didn't get to watch all that live. I started watching it right before the show started. I want to replay that tonight, but
Yeah, you
his
gotta watch
demeanor,
that Houston
yeah,
testimony, bro. That Houston.
yeah, and some of the stuff I heard, I like I said, I haven't watched all of it, but I watched some of it, and like the fact that he was at their wedding, you could tell
Yep.
that this stuff has affected all of them. Like there's just like a pall that's come over them, and you can
Even
tell
that
he's
Michelle
probably
Mitchell girl, the
yeah.
Michelle Mitchell, her friend, she turned on her like, what really went on? What's going on? How the hell are you her friend, but you're siding for Justin? What
There
really
you go.
happened?
There's a lot of parasocial relationships, and especially at the police department. I mean, that's all about who's going to survive this, who's moving up, who's backing each other up. I can totally see it on that police officer. He's like in the middle. He's in a pickle. I almost felt bad for Houston, even though his demeanor sucked. His testimony was terrible. I almost felt bad for him, like because this isn't his doing. Like he's like, man, this is not good. And I definitely, yeah, you're right about that other woman too. Like there's so much that we don't know about, like to be a fly on the wall, to really see the power dynamics of these relationships and how that happens, how they get turned, how they get, leveraged. Let's put it that way. There's a lot going
Right.
on here, obviously.
It's
Anything
crazy,
else?
bro.
Anything else you want to bring up that you saw today or that you thought was noteworthy? I thought it was noteworthy that Bradel took it to Noonan about the conflict of interest, about the post when he
Yeah,
brought up the post commission. I think the judge is going to hear that. Like I think that was probably the most important part of it today is when he was
definitely.
dinging Noonan about the conflict of interest there, about the sick, about not answering calls and being on leave and the special favors and all that other stuff, the no drug testing. I think
Yep.
that hopefully that will work, and I hope he closes heavily on that stuff because I think that is really what matters
And
here.
and
You
this is
agree? And
why I
anything
think
else?
it's good. This is why I think the whole trial is going to go so fast, is because the main person Bradel wanted to question was Noonan, because everyone else, it's just hearsay. There's no facts. It's just him. He knows what happened in that house. No one else does.
Yeah, that's why I wonder if they like, when Bradel said Kelsey was going to testify, and I felt like when I hear Nan Gallagher saying that, I hear you saying that, I felt like, yeah, it's probably the right thing for her to testify. But now I'm not so sure because I think he dirtied him up enough that Bradel may not need, they may not need,
He can't take that
Kelsey to
chance.
testify.
They can't take that chance. Remember, you don't have 11, 12 people. You have one person. And yeah, he knows the law better than those 12 people altogether. But we're dealing with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, bro.
That's what I'm worried about, that the fix is in. I don't trust
You
this
know?
judge at all. I don't care what anyone says. I don't trust him. I don't.
He seems reasonable, but he's part of the state, bro. He gets paid state money. Can't trust him.
There's a lot going on here. Anything else you want to say about being in court today, or anything you saw in court today, or anything upcoming? Anything you want to say?
Nah, I will be there Thursday. Um, oh,
Thursday
nothing
closing
really.
statements. That's going to be something you might get. I wonder how it will go with the verdict. Do you think he'll decide right away? Do you think he'll give it
I
a few
think they're gonna
days?
decide right away. I think he's gonna
Yeah.
decide right away because I'm pretty sure when he was given his instructions yesterday morning, he said that he will be deciding right after. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that though.
God damn. I want to cancel my dog walks now because I feel like it will
Bro,
probably
come
happen
down
Thursday.
Thursday with me. I can use some people. It gets crazy with just me alone, bro.
I hope
You know,
people show up.
I felt like a raisin in a glass of milk today.
Yeah, I could probably get there around 3 p.m., but it's probably going to be over by then. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely going to be over. He closed shop today at like a little bit past 3.
that's the problem for me right now. Friday was I was hoping it would go to Friday because I was
I
like,
don't
I
think
got
it's making it.
Friday. I don't either. God damn. I'm not going to make it there. I'm too busy. Like I said, I worked 3 gigs today.
Bro,
I
bring
did
your
radio.
dogs. There's a huge park right across the street.
Yeah, they're not my dogs. I can't put them in the car. Yeah, no. No.
Get a written
I
permission slip, Mike.
I got different dogs I got to walk too. Not all the dogs that I walk get along with each other. This is a lot. No,
Oh,
it's not
you
happening.
said
And the
no.
last thing I bring them is to that crew, like where there could be issues. I've learned my
Right.
lesson. I had an issue with a dude with one of my dogs I was walking. Never again. I don't bring my dogs together in the court stuff. No way. Too risky. But but hey, I like today. I did radio today. I did dog walking and I did YouTube streaming. I think I'm working enough. I think I got enough work.
You making that money, Mike. Mike's working.
3 incomes today. Three revenue streams.
There you
The
go.
radio really didn't pay because I was a guest, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm gonna say goodbye to Jay Brill. Promote yourself too, because you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook. JFK show. You got any shows coming up?
I don't promote my Facebook. That's my private space. If anyone wants to reach me, they can reach me on X, YouTube. I'm there. Um, I'm working on something, probably maybe start my own channel soon. I already have a channel, but I don't use it. I've never been a YouTuber like that, and I'm being talked into it, and I feel like I can make it somewhere. So eventually I will be starting up a channel. So be prepared. Stay tuned.
Jay Brill gonna have a channel going. I love it. It's like this is
Yeah,
like the shield with.
if people want to subscribe to my channel now, they could. Just know that I'm not doing anything right now. But you could subscribe to my channel. I will be getting it up soon. That will eliminate me having to get the subscribers. So,
Awesome. Definitely, we'll promote it tonight.
man, like,
Yeah. Make sure can you send me a Facebook link with it so I make sure I post the right one.
you're not posting my Facebook. That's my public. That's my private space.
No, I meant send me a Facebook message with it.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
With your
My bad.
YouTube. Or even I'm wondering, do I have you as a mod? You might be able to post it in our chat right now.
I don't. I don't even know my
I know, I don't even know either. Send me the link yeah, send me by messenger the link and I'll post it in the chat.
I think it's J Brill on 90 at J Brill on 90.
I'll give it right now. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure it
J,
is at J Brill on 90.
J Brill 90.
No, J Brill on my last name, BRILLON 90.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I found it. I got it. We'll promote it.
All right,
Awesome.
cool.
You just picked up another subscriber. We subscribed. Young Jerk just subscribed to you.
I appreciate you, Mike.
This is gonna be like the when the Shield broke up temporarily in WWE, everyone thought it
Yep.
was the end of the Shield, but they were stronger independently, and then they still came together. So
Oh, JFK is my home. Don't
that's
worry
it.
about that. That's my
That's
home.
it.
I ain't never leaving the coop.
Yeah. No, it's just good to have something for yourself too, and you still do the JFK.
Yes, sir. And just you know, just get out there, focus on exposing the corruption in Massachusetts, and do the damn thing.
Definitely.
But I'm gonna jump off. I'll hit you up. We'll talk behind the scenes, and thank you everyone for all your support. I appreciate you, Mike. I appreciate the chat, all of you, and we'll see you soon.
You too. Thank you so much, Jay
Yep.
Brill. Jay Brilliant. Thank you so much, Jay.
Bye.
Bye. And I'm gonna try to pin it up in the chat if I can. Yes, I got it. Hold on. Let me pin Jay Brill. I know people are subscribing now. I like that. I like seeing his numbers go up. Let's see his numbers go up right now before my eyes. He started off with like 15 people. We're already at 36. I love it. We threw 20 people at him immediately. I love my chat. Thank you so much. Let's get him up to 100 tonight at least. Just subscribed. Now you're recruiting him to spaces. Why don't you come up here? Oh, YBE. YBE. What are you doing? You're recruiting him to come to speak on spaces there. Oh, also come to spaces and speak this afternoon. He did. I want you to come up. Why don't we get young black economist up tonight? I want to know what she thinks about Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I want to throw out the link in the chat, but I'm afraid the trolls will take advantage of it. That's what they do now. That's what they do. They're thirsty. They're thirsty for the attention. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to find YBE on Twitter. If I can. Hopefully I can. Of course I don't find her. There she is. I had her for a second. Hold on. What happened? I'm going to send you a link if you want to jump on today. If Kelsey Fitzsimmons though is the topic. No other no other drama tonight at least. All right. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it tonight. No porn bomb. I'm too tired. It's too late. Sarah, I think she wants it actually. You want the porn bomb. Sarah says, don't do it, Mike. I can't handle a porn bomb tonight. I think you want it now. I'm going to do it. No, I'm not. I'm not posting the link in the chat tonight. It will end up being Val. I know. Was that a fake Val account in the chat too? That could be Val. I sent you a DM to your real account on X so that I know it's you. I don't trust these fake accounts they have. They ain't punking me. All right, so let's play a little video. Well, let's check the super. Do we have any super chats? Oh, I'll post this up. LG OG22 says, I think she wanted to kill herself. Couldn't get alone, so she just figured to shoot Noonan than herself. It's definitely possible. That's one scenario. But is it provable? I don't think they can prove it. That's the problem. The only proof they have is Noonan's statements, which he's got a conflict of interest, so I can't believe that. I can't. Not independent. That's why I think she should be found not guilty, just because they can't prove it. Whether or not she did it, I don't think so. I don't. The more and more I hear, especially about the clothes. YBE is here. Let's bring her up. What's up?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. How you doing tonight?
Turn my camera off just because, whatever. Not the
Why
best.
not? Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. I mean, I can
I'm like,
turn it on if you want me to.
no, you don't have to.
Okay.
I give the trolls less to,
Yeah, that's why I was going to turn it off.
yeah. It's up to you. Whatever makes you comfortable. Like, these trolls, It's ridiculous.
Nonstop. But
I love your tweets when you tell them to stop. Like you have a way with words, a way with put downs on these trolls that are just so funny. I find myself laughing daily at some of the put downs that you throw back at them. You tell
yeah,
them to stop
I'm just an
sucking
irrelevant
your whatever.
for the most part. I don't stream anymore. I did used to stream on Twitch, so I have some, streaming experience in that sense. But I don't stream anymore. I don't. I'm just a chatter. So, but I guess my post just really bothers some people. So that's, I guess, the only thing I can think of. But
I
yeah,
get them. I mean, they are very upset with you. I mean, they are. Even when I mentioned that you might come on the show, it got them in a tizzy. Like they were like, "Oh, Mike's next guest." Like they were like, I was like,
yeah.
"Wow, she brings the heat." I
I'm
just
really
mentioned
a
her.
chatter
I just
apparently, which is funny because I'm like, you have all these, you have people you've known for 10, 15 years and stuff in there. Like, doesn't make any sense that they're just playing around. But yeah,
And I
so
gotta say, the thing is why they get so triggered too is you do look good. LG's noting it. You when you were just on, you had no makeup. You did look good. Like
yeah,
I will say that. I will say that as a man. You
I need
did look good
to think so.
in a non creepy way. I'm just saying because it's true. It's true. They get very triggered by you. What do you think about this whole Kelsey Fitzsimmons thing? What we saw in court the last couple of days? YBE.
So my mind definitely has changed some because I always think of like what I would think, I'm a very heavily pro defense person. Like especially being a statistician and like looking at the evidence that comes into trials, I always think like it doesn't meet my scientific rigor. Like it's just definitely not beyond a reasonable doubt. Beyond a reasonable doubt is like 95%. Those confidence intervals are way too large, like in almost every case, So I tend to be like that was like that with Karen Reed. It's like that with most cases. I feel like a lot of other people think the person is guilty. For example, Corey Richards that just happened. I think that should have been not guilty. The evidence wasn't, in my mind, beyond a reasonable doubt. Right. So that's one side. However, I also look at like what I think a jury would do or what I think the outcome will be. And I recognize that it's like 95, 96, 97% conviction rate on most things. Right. So it's like, okay, even though I think this should be not guilty, most cases end up guilty. Like with Corey Richards, I'm like, okay, I think this should be not guilty. She's probably going to be convicted. That's exactly what happened. Right. So with this, though, I went in thinking like, well, she's probably going to be convicted. Just like the idea that she picked up a weapon with a cop in a room, period. Point, like that's done. Like especially if you're out here, if you're anywhere out, in the streets, you hear about these stories. You hear about people getting, shot by cops when they're just reaching for their phone. You hear some just like, oh no, man, she's gonna get guilty for sure. That's what I thought. After watching Noonan's testimony, and especially it being a bench trial, all I have to say is I hope Kelsey has some actual hope because I think, like, man, maybe she can pull out here. Maybe she can. Just because kind of what Jabril was saying, Noonan's testimony was inconsistent. And also he mentioned she didn't ever like point the gun directly at him. He mentioned that she was trying to get him out of the room a few times. So what I think actually happened is kind of irrelevant. But what I feel like probably what actually happened is everything happened very quickly. She pulled it up. He didn't know what she was doing. He saw her pull her gun out. And so he also pulled his gun out and shot. That most likely is a real scenario. But then his story about, how she pointed the gun at him and then put it back down. And it just seems like, again, to me, it seems like there's some reasonable doubt about whether she ever actually pointed the gun at him. So now what is the judge going to rule on? I don't know. Because to me, I'm like, well, if you pick up, is she guilty if she just picks up a loaded weapon, or does she have to have actual, like imagine if she was picking it up to pack it or something, she's picking it up, moving it around to another place. It's like, well, okay, that's obviously that she's not trying to point it to anyone. So I feel like there would be too much doubt if I was a judge to convict her here, but we'll see. What do you think of that?
Points. I mean, I think it's a he said, what she said, and how can you trust one over the other? And to that leads to reasonable doubt. And then, like you said, there was a lot of issues with his testimony, inconsistencies, the way he talked, his demeanor, the dehumanization, I feel like, of Kelsey too. Like, I felt like he was very callous and distancing about how he knew her, what he said to the neighbor, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff there to look at. Even about the maternity leave. Well, she wasn't very here very like there was something like that. She wasn't here very long, or she was mostly on a maternity leave. It's like almost discounting language. Like, even with him, it's like, you get back on the job. He said at one point. Like, I feel like that's who he is. He's like, he's sacrificing everything for the job. Why isn't she? Why is she having a baby? Like, that's what it felt like to me. It felt like that kind of. So I think it bleeds through, but I don't know. The wild card is this judge. That's the big thing.
Right.
I don't trust this judge, and you're putting a lot in the hands of one person. I think easily, yeah, he might come back right away and say not guilty. I can see that happening, but there's also a good chance this guy's going to side with the cops and say guilty because he's part of the system, and I don't trust this judge. I don't trust the system after what I saw from McCarthy Naiman. There was something going on with that McCarthy Naiman, and it makes me skeptical of this entire system trial in Essex County.
So with the other judge, I actually have a little bit different opinion. I think she felt disrespected or something, which probably still shouldn't happen. But the way like Brady came in, he didn't have any of the records. He just was kind of like, yeah, trust me, bro. It's like, dude, why don't you just wait a week, wait 2 weeks, get what you need, and actually come back with what you like, get everything you need. He just came in and was like, trust me, bro. So I can see why she did that. But I do think that, the cops have even though it's technically, against another cop, it's like if a cop is in a shooting, they always deny it, they always change the story, etc. That's why we have body cams, right? Because they're, because it's, and also, I wouldn't say always, but also it's like, again, say if it just happened really quickly and he, afterwards he's going to kind of make up or going to add in some details, and those details are going to be favorable to him, so without the body cam. And I think like I've been saying all over chats, I'm like, this is why we need some things need to be federal. I think like the way we fund both schools and law enforcement. Did you know that local funding property taxes, on average, 30% of property taxes go to school, 30% go to law enforcement, 30 to 40% of both. And everything, and every other service has the remaining amount. So it's just like, even, and that's of course on average. Richer cities, of course, have more leeway, but they tend to have less issues. The poor areas, they need the most help, and they don't have the money because property taxes are low. And that's why property taxes, housing tends to be capitalized with both schools, quality schools, and good law enforcement. So that's like, kind of a side issue. But I'm like, man, some issues could be resolved if things were federally required, like body cams, having them even just being required. It's kind of crazy how they're not in 2026. How you can, and it always just depends on whichever, not even county, but whichever district you're in, if they either have it in the budget or if they choose to use it to have body cams. So I think, of course, that would have resolved a lot of issues here. So, of course, and again, to me, I feel like it should be not guilty because there's too many variables to make a proper estimation. But we'll see. I don't know. I went in thinking that she was going to be wanting not guilty, but thinking that, well, most cases are going to end up with a conviction. But I just don't know with the judge. My mind has changed over the last 2 days in thinking that maybe she really does have a shot here. I don't, because even if the judge rules not guilty, he's still not saying that the other cop is therefore guilty of something. Like he's not the one who's on trial. So if he's, she's a cop as well. So it's still like, it's kind of, so I feel like maybe I feel like it's possible. We'll see what happens. But I do have more hope especially after yesterday, that she could get not guilty.
I think today was a better day for the defense than day one.
Yeah, but even after day one, I like at the end, especially with Noonan, like I felt like it could really possibly be not guilty here. It's nerve wracking. I'm sure for her, like it's nerve wracking because you just know how high conviction rates are, and how just like, but I don't know. I feel like it's possible here, so we'll see what happens.
See. We shall see. Funny, we have Leah Genduso. Did I say it right? I screwed it up again, didn't I? LG. She asked me to post the link to the Auntie Deb parody video, which I posted. I guess Auntie Deb doesn't even mind. He likes LG now, apparently, because he made a video about her. I don't know. Have you seen this video? Do you know anything about it? You and Auntie Deb have gone back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, it's a parody of this case here.
No, parody of Auntie Deb, I guess, or something. I don't know. I've seen the video. It was pretty funny, actually. She did a little parody of Auntie Deb. LG's a comedian. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't know she was.
She is funny.
She's a comedian.
It's funny. She like acted like him. Anything else you want to say about Kelsey Fitzsimmons tonight? Or anything else?
I mean, I guess the only other thing about the trial, which I kind of talked to Deidre about a little, was the initial portion when Brito was talking about the whistleblower and et cetera, et cetera. I jumped off after I first just kind of asked a question about it, but is he just talking about I guess there was some kind of there's issues with SA in the department, or with like these issues with some of these officers making these kinds of statements and stuff. Is that what he was referring to? Because it just wasn't clear from.
I'm not sure. I think, there's an officer, Gerke, she's a female officer who still works at the department. She sued about like some sexual harassment or like, it was more about like getting passed over for opportunities or getting paid less for more responsibilities, not getting the proper pay based on gender. And I think she won that suit. She's still there. And she's on the defense list. So it'll be interesting to see if she's a witness tomorrow. That's what that could be about. I think there is a culture there that's kind of known where veterans, and especially, men, and what I mean by veterans is people who have been there 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they get more perks there. They get more seniority. And I think there's a system, it's a system. And
right. I mean, that happens across the country though, right? And in almost every single field, there's still a wage gap across females and gender in almost every single field. So I think that would have, the main thing is like, how do you link it right specifically to this case, to her pulling the weapon, right? And so I think that's why I'm like, I really feel like it comes down to the judge trying to decide if her just picking up the gun is enough to be found guilty, or if she pointed at him or not, and then trying to weigh the, he said, she said, because it's like in any situation there's always sexual discrimination. Sorry, guys, it really is. Right. And so it's just like, okay, well, how do you actually tie that to what she's being charged with right now? Which I think is like the needle that the judge kind of has to thread, right? So because this is not, that's not necessarily specifically related to this, but it's like, okay, well, I guess the way it's related is to say, is Noonan claiming something happened that didn't happen and thinking, oh, well, I can get away with it. I'm senior to her. She's a rookie, So I guess that's like that's what they have to be able, or that's what with a jury, I could see it really being useful, especially because, and that's why I thought that they would go with the jury with this. Cause I'm like, I could see that being useful with the jury thinking like, yeah, they're just discriminating against her specifically. Like the cops are always lying, they're just making up a story. but again, like the issue which kind of Deidre mentions often is that like the gun, you put the gun in her hand already. So it's like now the judge has to decide on those fine points of if she pointed it at him or not, right? And that's like again, to me, I feel like if you can't determine it, then it should be not guilty, right? If you're questioning like, okay, did this actually happen or not at the end, then it should be not guilty, because that's supposedly how the system is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be, okay, can we prove that she didn't do it? It's, if they can't prove that she did do it, then it should be not guilty. And it seems like, at least from my point of view, that especially even after Nunez's own testimony, that they can't really prove that she did do it. I mean, even just taking his words alone seems like he was just kind of, and honestly, at the end of yesterday when he the end of yesterday, I didn't watch today as closely. At the end of yesterday when he was on the stand, I almost feel like he like maybe he was lying and kind of felt bad and like gave a bone to Kelsey or something, because he was saying like, I don't know if she ever pointed it to me or whatever, which is different than what he has said before in the past. So I just feel like that doubt that he's kind of even in his own mind, and say if he's not lying, let's just say he's not lying at all, but he just doesn't fully remember everything that happened. It happened very quickly. He saw her with the gun in her hand. He just, and this is probably why he's on leave, right? He probably made a decision that he shouldn't have made, which is pulling his, but I don't know. If someone pulls a gun on me, I'm going to get, if I'm probably getting nervous. So I feel like there's just so much kind of, even in his own story, he can't remember exactly what happened. How would you be able to, right? Does memory improve over time or not, right?
And you fill in the gaps with
Right.
untrue things in your mind. Unfortunately, just the human mind plays tricks on itself. You're getting a lot of love in the chat. I want to, if you're a supporter of YBE, put a 1 in the chat right now. A YouTuber named That One Girl, Melly. I watch her sometimes. She's good. She's been streaming the trial. She says YBE love. Do you know That One Girl,
Yeah,
Melly?
I know Melly, of course. I think I've known Melly for, just in chats and stuff for quite a while, probably since the beginning of Karen Reed. I think I met her in Duty Ron's chat way back in the day. So, yeah, I go in there often. I always have a good time in there. I always have a good
Awesome.
time. I can always be myself in there, so that's always really fun.
I love that you're getting famous as a chatter. Like people, like you don't even have to have a show. You're in the chat and you're riling people up, and it's like, and it's not even that bad. Like what you say is funny, I think, and it's also so truthful.
Like, I don't understand, guys. I'm an irrelevant chatter. I really am. I don't stream. I probably won't for a while because I'm an irrelevant chatter. So, but I appreciate
you're educated. That's the other thing. When we say young black economist, this is what I like. Oh, when I went on your Twitter too, you said I make predictions. Like I love people who may try to make predictions because it's hard. It is fucking hard. And like you are an economist. You're writing like a huge doctoral paper and shit. Like you're educated. I think that's one of the reasons why they get so mad. People notice that as well, because not everyone in this crowd is so educated. And Natalie Diana noticed it. She said YBE is educated. They hate that. There is a truth to that, isn't it?
Yeah, I was homeschooled when I was younger. I have level 1 autism, but I was homeschooled, so I guess you can thank my parents all the way through 9th grade, and then I went to a small private school for the last 3 years of high school. My bachelor's is in political science, and I was just lucky where I got a advisor the first year, who's now the dean of the school, who back then he was a first year professor, and he just also wanted to like do really well, so he took us to a whole bunch of like different events, the symphony, stuff like that first year. And he always told me, he's like, YBE, he called me YBE, you got to do internships right away. Like, you got to, like with the degree in political science, nobody's going to, give a shit. Like you got to. So I just took his advice and just started doing things. So I went into the Peace Corps after I graduated with undergrad, because again, with the bachelor's in political science, it's like, okay, I guess some of my friends, went to law school. I thought I wanted to go to law school. I was actually in Phi Alpha Delta in undergrad, which is a pre-law fraternity. So I thought I wanted to go to law school, but they have this seminar every year called Why You Shouldn't Be a Lawyer for the pre-law fraternity, but it's just like to kind of help students like see like, is this really what you want to get into? So I decided not to do law school, but I joined the Peace Corps. I was in West Africa for 2 years, came home, still didn't really, I knew I wanted to go to grad school, but still didn't really know what I wanted to do. Went to Oregon for a year, decided to do econ. And with econ, there's a lot of math, more math than what I think most people assume. So I just stayed another year, took all the classes I needed. And again, like luckily, this is because of my parents, I like took calculus in high school. So I did have like a pretty solid foundation on math. Learned from my Chinese students or my Chinese classmates who really just helped me out. In econ, the dropout rate after first year is like 50%. So it's pretty, it's pretty high, but it just, sometimes I'm just like, part of it's just getting lucky. Part of it is being open to other people and being able to like, instead of how some people are like, oh, the Chinese students, they're always walking together. They're always, I was like, nope, I'm in their group now. I am definitely in their group now. I'm going to breakfast with them. I'm going to lunch with them. I'm going to dinner with them. I'm doing all my studying with them so I can actually learn what I need to learn. And that's just kind of, so like econ it's more, think of it more as like applied statistics than I think most people think of it as like finance, but it's not finance. Any economist that tells
Totally.
you about the
It's like statistics and theories. I took an econ 101 course at Bridgewater State. I was a social studies major too. I took some business courses, and it was interesting. I did actually pretty well, I think, on that one. I liked econ. It kind of confusing at first, but once you understood a few like the basic theories and things like that, and just understood the language, it wasn't that hard. I liked it. I think it's awesome. I love that you're into that.
Right. It's very different than finance. Like it's if any economist tells you they know about the stock market, either they're a banker or they're a fraud. Like, don't believe them.
Or they're a stock picker, like, or they're a
right.
stock
That's
investor.
fine. Yeah, but I wouldn't call
That's like me. I'm a stock investor. I'm not an economist.
They don't put the econ names in. Because that's the finance.
There's one economist that's cool with all the weed. Jeffrey Myron. You ever hear of him from Harvard?
No, I don't know him.
Yeah, he's big time. He was the guy that said that we should legalize because it would be, better for all of us, for society, if we just legalized. And he got a lot of shit, but he was right. He was right. It's much better for us to have it legal. Less teen use. Teen use went down, actually. Anyways, let's talk.
That's something that economists would look at. Like, actually, that there's a lot. Actually, in my department here, that's health econ, but they publish a lot of papers on smoking and the effects of smoking, and they've actually started doing, more recently about like cannabis smoking and the effect, meaning like the effect on education, the effect on like not necessarily health effects, but the effects on, different aspects of consumption. And that, cigarette smoking, health economists can claim that, we're one of the reasons why cigarette smoking has decreased over the past however many years. But that's another thing about econ is that it's applied statistics, right? So you can apply it to health, you can apply it to environment, you can apply it to labor, or you apply it to urban.
Consumers, that's a big one. The corporations use it.
100%, right.
To get us to buy shit.
Yeah, and that's even, you can, and that's one of the reasons why I went into the field is that there's a huge range of positions you can do compared to say if you some PhD programs, it's like you really can only be a professor, or like there's the field is kind of narrow about what else you can do. But with econ,
like history or art, two big ones actually.
Yeah,
history is a tough one.
Some of the social fields, actually history, and a lot of those social sciences actually have been starting to be a little bit more into data. So like we'll have actually a lot of those other students kind of coming into some of our classes because they realize that you can. Like you need like almost everything required. Like if you want to learn anything about history, you can read and stuff, old documents, but you may want to do some kind of statistical analysis. Maybe you only need 1 or 2 classes on it if you're a like PhD historian. But there's a lot of fields that are kind of like, it's kind of difficult. Even like biology or stuff like that. It's like getting into a lab is very difficult afterwards. But with econ, it's very expansive, right? Almost any firm needs a PhD economist for something, right? So you can almost do anything as long as they need some kind of data analyzed, some kind of statistical analysis done. You can probably find a place, even in the court systems, right? Which is one thing. Actually, I did like an interview with a firm that does expert testimony for different cases stuff, and they're all economists, and some of them have JDs as well, and they just do expert testimony for mainly civil trials, or mainly different lawsuits and stuff that are going on where they need analysis done. But so yeah, just that I wanted to give you that little spiel. And then also, cults, stuff like that, online, actually online in-group, out-group network. That's kind of like related to like game theory, right? Which is a branch of econ as well. So really almost anything if you can model it, if you can put it into a model, then probably you'll find an economist somewhere in there.
Game theory is fascinating. Like tit for tat. You know about tit for tat, obviously?
Yep.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love all that stuff. I love the cult stuff too. Like I'm big into Jim Jones and just all the different types of cults that are out there. I didn't realize YouTube had cults. That's like a new one. I'm like, I wasn't keeping up. I was still stuck with Charlie Manson and the Process Church and Hare Krishnas and what was the other ones? The Scientologists.
Right.
Even Lyndon LaRouche.
Right.
A lot of cults. There's a lot of flavors. You got right wing, you got left wing, you got Christian, there's so many different cults. It's crazy.
Right. And actually I don't know this guy, so not necessarily, I don't know how, but there's a channel called Innuendo Studios, and he doesn't post that much, but there's like some really older videos on there, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but I've been like posting it some places online throughout our Free Care and Read community, where there's a video he talks about online cults and how they differ from these kind of traditional cults that you're talking about, and I mean, how that relates to game theory is that there's a huge branch of game theory about in-group, out-group behavior. And I wrote a paper on in-group, out-group behavior. One of my advisors I won't say his name, I'll tell you later, but he's someone who's very well known in that field. So, but like the in-group, out-group behavior is very, you see, that's kind of like what underlines a lot of cults, right? Is you want to be in the in-group. But yeah, like the online cults, they're very different than traditional cults, but there's, psychology about it. I don't know, because I'm not a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, so I can't get into that. But there's some videos and stuff. I mean, even if chatters just search in YouTube, online cults, whatever, you'll probably find a ton of videos about them that kind of just show you the difference between, and they say they tend to be more diffused. So you're not, meeting in a central location, and, you're not necessarily leaving your physical environment, but
they meet online. They meet at the live show or at the website or whatever it is. It could be a Twitter account. It could be anything. Right. I thank you for being here, YB. Anything else you want to say before we let you go? Promote your Twitter, any social media, anything else you want to say about Kelsey Fitzsimmons too?
Yeah, I really, if I have more hope after watching the testimony than I did going in. And I was like set that I'm like, oh, she's going to be found guilty for sure. And she picked up a gun with a cop in a room. Like, that's great. She's going to be found guilty. But after watching the actual testimony and, only seeing what's going on in the courtroom, I feel like she has some hope. So hopefully she's getting some good rest, and especially if she's going to testify tomorrow. I'm not sure if she will or not. So hopefully she gets a good night's sleep, and just, either way, at the end of the day, she's hopefully not going to get prison time or jail time at all. Right. So I think she'll be, and just, move forward with her custody stuff. And hopefully, everyone just kind of stay cool, try not to harass these people, different people involved in this case, just because you don't want to intervene in any way that's going to harm Kelsey or harm her chances of getting her kid back. That's also one thing that makes me really nervous. So just, everyone just, just think about if it was you and, some random people or that you don't necessarily know are getting in, messing up your chances of getting your kid back because they can't stop, whatever, robot calling your ex-fiance or whatever, so just, I just hope everyone just kind of keeps that in mind, stays professional if they can. You all can follow me on YouTube if you want. You have my channel, just young underscore, always with the underscores. I know there's some fake accounts going around. Mine's is always young_black_economist. Also on Twitch, but again, I don't stream much. I'm just an irrelevant chatter. So with that, I'll see you later.
Bust all their balls. All their balls get busted. It's funny.
Right. All right.
They get so worked up by you. I love it. Thank you, YBE, for being on the show tonight.
All right. Take care.
Awesome. It was great to have her on the show tonight. YBE. They're going to get all in a tither. All lathered up. They're all going to get worked up. Yeah, most of us act like adults here, except for me. And Sarah. Sarah and I are the ones that get the most trouble here. I can't. Deirdre, I have a Scientology story I'll have to tell later tonight. I want to hear that. Should have told it on my show last night. I love the Scientology stories. And Vic was saying that a family member, it sounds like her father was in a real cult as well. I'd like to hear about that. Who's starting a new fake account? Is that with my name or YBE's name? Oh, is that Val? God damn. They need to get jobs or something. I think some of them have jobs, don't they? All right. I said I was going to watch the court trial. Let's put on the trial. Let's watch it again.
And you also said that you got along well with her, right?
For the time, I think we went to 1 or 2 calls together. Other than that, I worked a completely different shift.
So
We got
yes or
along
no?
when we went to calls, yes.
Did you get along well with her or not?
Yeah.
And did you think well of her?
Seems like discounting behavior. Yeah.
I really didn't have an opinion. I didn't have a chance to really get to know her.
Well, do you know Maureen Teresi, your neighbor?
Maureen Teresi.
You gave her your opinion of Kelsey, didn't you?
I don't remember.
You called her a whack job, didn't you?
I don't recall.
I'm sorry, Mr. Grail, I missed the question. Can you state
Sure.
it again?
So I asked him if he knew Miss Maureen Teresi, his neighbor,
Okay.
and I said that he gave his opinion of Kelsey to his neighbor, and that he called her a whack job. And then you can answer again, sir. What was your answer?
I don't recall.
You don't recall?
I don't.
Is it possible you called her a whack job to your neighbor?
It's possible.
So that's what you really think about Kelsey, isn't it, that she's a whack job?
After she tried to kill me.
So 25 has this as like their top story, this quote here.
And at the time, you went in there loaded for bear, didn't you?
No.
Well, let's see. You told the state police that the job was to section her, didn't you?
It was spoken about that if she reacts badly during the restraining order, she may have to get sectioned.
Well, that's what you said, that you had pre-planned.
I would have said, is that why you put on your gloves? That would have been a perfect question right there. Because you thought she might get sectioned. Is that why you put on your gloves, dude? Is that why you put on your gloves? Why you came in with the gloves?
That you were going to section her.
It wasn't
The job was to
pre-planned.
section her, isn't that what you said?
No, that's inaccurate.
So-
Hold on 1 second. Let me just go through some ground rules. You need to wait until the question is complete, because we can't have 2 folks talking over one another.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks very much. Go ahead, Mr. Gray.
And also, you raised quite a lot of concerns about where Kelsey parked her car, correct?
Yes.
And you suggested at one point that you could box her in and take her into custody with respect to the car, right?
Yes.
So you were thinking that she was going to need to be sectioned, that she was a whack job, and that she needed to be boxed in and placed into custody, right?
Objection.
And that's what a state of mind, Your Honor.
He has testified that he thought she was a whack job before he went.
Overruled.
Those are all things that were in your mindset, weren't they?
No.
Well, you said them, right?
No, that's inaccurate.
Sectioning her,
It was brought up by my lieutenant that she may have to be sectioned
and you told the state police that part of the job was to section her.
if she were to be sectioned.
You didn't say that part to the state police, did you?
I don't recall.
Okay, well, we'll go over all this, don't worry.
Okay.
And so,
Call a lot.
with respect to the car, you testified in such a manner that you're suggesting that there's some suspicion attached to that, right?
Can you rephrase?
Yeah, you're suspicious of the fact that she parked the car 150 yards away, you said.
Yes.
So, your mindset is that she's evading something or she's up to something?
Well, in my training and experience, the distance of where she parked her car from her house and having a baby, and also her behavior in the past where her car was always parked in the driveway, was...
So you didn't know her very well.
I knew where she lived, and I patrol the town, so I have to drive by her
I
house.
thought that was weird,
So
two
she
police
parks
passing
in the
by.
school next to her house.
Yes.
What are you thinking she's gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know what her mindset was.
So you're speculating about any suspicion that's attached to that parking job, right?
I was just
I think he's weird. I think it's weird when he says he didn't really know her that well, but he knew that she didn't park her car there normally. That is weird. That doesn't make sense to me.
suspicious about that.
So she's in the house. You
Yes.
know she's in the house.
No, I don't.
You go to the house. You knock on the door. Daly knocks on the door. She comes out like a regular mom,
Yes.
holding the baby, wearing sweats, hair's probably in a ponytail, opens the door,
Yes.
right? So at that point, do you let go of your suspicions about where she parked the car?
I was still curious as to why she parked her car over 150 yards away.
Well, you're looking at it through your own lens as an investigator. Isn't it possible that there's 100 other possibilities in her life that maybe she parked there for some other reason?
Could be. I don't know. Again, I don't know what her mindset was.
Thank
So
you,
you go
Simon.
in there, and you are the only officer who has tactical gloves on when you go in there, correct?
They're neoprene gloves. Yes.
So you're ready for anything, right?
It's past practice with me after working in Lawrence for so long. I tend to glove up for sanitary reasons. I knew we were going to have to handle her firearms, so I didn't want to get any of my prints or anything on them.
But you said you took them off fairly quickly when you got in there.
Yes.
And at what point did you take them off?
Right before she handed me the baby.
So you hadn't yet touched the firearms, and you took them off. So that plan about not getting your prints on the firearms didn't pan out, did it?
I didn't want to hold the baby with those gloves. They're pretty dirty.
And while we're talking about holding the baby, it's fair to say that Kelsey Fitzsimmons, with 3 cops standing there, had her baby, and she's the one that chose to give it to you. Isn't
Yes.
that right? You didn't ask for it. Daly didn't order her to give it to you. She, with whatever her mindset was, chose you to take her baby. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
And she chose you to take a bottle and feed her baby, right?
That's correct.
And then this is 5 minutes before you say she tries to murder you, right?
That's correct.
Now, you said that you felt that the baby couldn't be comfortable because you had your vest on. So it wasn't comfortable and you wanted to give the baby off to someone else, right? Is that
That's correct.
a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's not what you said prior, is it?
Well, I like to have my hands free as well. I don't like my hands tied up.
That's what you said the last time, right? That when you spoke with the state police, that you didn't like having anything in your hands, and it was really a tactical reason why you gave the baby up, right?
No, it wasn't a tactical. I just didn't want to be holding the baby.
Isn't it tactical that you want to have your hands free to deal with anything you have to deal with at this?
I want to have my hands free on every call.
What's
that I
wrong
go
with the
to.
word tactical? Why isn't that tactical?
Can you rephrase that?
What's wrong with the word tactical?
There's nothing wrong with that.
So why doesn't it apply? Because I said it?
I'm sure it could apply.
I'll strike that, Your Honor. Why doesn't it apply?
I'm sure it could apply. Sure.
So for tactical reasons, you gave up the baby. But that's not what you said here at this trial, is it?
I don't recall what you. Can you rephrase that?
Well,
I don't-
here at the trial, you said that the baby couldn't have been comfortable and you wanted to give the baby off, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And you didn't say anything about wanting to keep your hands free for tactical reasons, right?
It wasn't asked.
You were asked what happened repeatedly, and you had every opportunity to talk about it, didn't you?
Sure.
And you left it out.
Not on purpose.
We'll see.
Point. I thought about this today too. It's possible. Squab Bob says, I think the disparate testimony from the cops is actually to purposely get her off without admitting their own guilt, their own fault. Could be. I mean, they need a fall person. That's what it feels like, right? Could be. Totally could be.
Mr. Grado, comment like that isn't helpful, please.
Sorry, Your Honor, motion to strike.
You're moving to strike your own comment?
I am.
It's allowed. And that's
Thank you, What the Duck. Thank you so much.
forthright of you.
We're killing it today.
Just a moment.
Yep, take your time.
Yeah, we love What the Duck. Hooking up some more memberships. Thank you so much, What the Duck. We got a lot of new jerks here this week. A lot of new jerk members. What the Duck and Simon and everybody else has been coming through this week. It's amazing.
I asked you something about your grand jury testimony that we alluded to.
Look, Kelsey, she's laser focused right here during this testimony.
So your testimony here was that you didn't get the whole plan from Officer Houston on the phone, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And my suggestion that your answer about the thing in sort of a matter-of-fact way was, okay, sounds good. And you disagree that you said that, right?
I don't disagree. I just don't recall.
You don't recall?
Yeah, what I said.
So isn't it true that you were asked, page 36. Who did you get a call from? Officer Houston. And what was that call about? Was the next question. And your answer was, he had asked me if Lieutenant Daly reached out to me. I said no. Officer Houston said, hey, can you meet me at the CCC, which is a little grade school behind the Atkinson School. He said, we have to serve papers to Officer Kelsey. I said, okay, sounds good. And I drove over to that location and met up with him, right? And
Sure.
you knew those papers were a restraining order for Kelsey to give up the baby, give up her guns, lose her job,
I had
brought by her fiance, right?
I had no idea what was entailed in the restraining order at that time.
At what point did you learn the job here?
As far as the restraining order,
As far as this job you were going to do at Kelsey's house?
what job?
The restraining order service, taking the baby, finding the guns,
When I met up with
sectioning her,
Officer
boxing her in,
when I
putting
met
her
up
into
with Officer
custody.
Houston.
Don't talk when I'm talking, sir.
What do you think of that? Would some people like that? Some people didn't like it. What did you think about that moment when he said, don't talk when I'm talking? They were both talking over each other. What do you think on that? I mean, Bradle was asking a question. I thought it was fine. Some people didn't like it. Simon, coming through again. Simon, you're the man. Thank you so much. I want to know what you think about Bradle cutting him off right there.
Box, sorry.
Hold on. Let's.
Not necessary. Liked it. Yeah. See, it's split. That's the problem with.
We just wait to answer until he's done.
Pop should know better. True.
Sure. So you asked me what the job was. So my suggestion is that the job is serving the restraining order, going to get the baby, finding the guns. You thought about boxing her in and taking her into custody. You thought about sectioning her. That job.
When I met up with Officer Houston behind the CCC.
And at that point, you knew what you were getting into, right?
After he explained what was going on, and we were pretty shocked.
Seems like most people liked it.
In all of the statements you've made prior to being here yesterday and today, you've never said that you were pretty shocked about anything, have you?
I don't recall.
You weren't shocked. You were treating this like a video game, weren't you?
No.
Sheila, oh my God, Sheila's making me
Well,
crack up
your
right
first
now.
and-
Sheila, come on. Come on. He was on the stand this morning. The court is over for the day. It's been over for quite a few hours. We're replaying this morning. We're going over it again. For people who didn't see it yet, and for me too, because I don't catch everything the first time I watch everything, and especially knowing that I'm walking dogs, I'm taking phone calls. I had a busy day. I did hear all of his testimony, but I just think the Noonan part is so important. And I want to watch it again. But what I missed some of was this other police officer at the end. So I want to play both of what I think is the most important testimony of the day again. So this is a replay. This is a review show. Oh, God damn. All right, let's watch more.
Answer is, sounds good, like it's any other day, right?
As to meeting up with him behind the CCC. Yep, sounds good. I'll see you then.
Sounds good to meet up, okay.
We all caught up? I think we're all
No,
caught up. I think
the
Noonan's all
bedroom
caught up now.
and the shots that you fired. Here in court, you said that those shots were in rapid fire.
Rapid succession, yes, okay.
And like a boom, boom.
Yes.
No, that's not what you said to the state police, though, is it?
That was 8 months ago, right around there. I don't recall. I said I shot twice, possibly.
You told the state police that you pulled the trigger. This is 1232 in audio. You told the police that you pulled the trigger once. You said the word once. And then you said, I kept giving commands. And then you said, I pulled the trigger again. That's a completely different scenario than 2 shots in rapid succession, isn't it?
As far as the time frame, I was trying to recall the event as best as possible. But, you know, rapid succession, you pull the trigger, pull it again. Yes, I pulled it twice.
So that was July 3rd, right after this incident, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it's fair to say that talking then it's right after the incident, and now you're here in court. Both of those propositions can't be true, can they?
I'm sorry, what?
The proposition, I'll rephrase it. The proposition that you said here in court, that you made 2 shots in rapid succession,
Yes.
and what you said on July 3rd, 1 shot, giving some commands, another shot, both of those things can't be true, can they?
They can be true,
They can be true.
yes.
So rapid succession, and then what? You talk really fast before the second shot?
Oh, I was given commands. Don't do it, don't do it.
I'm asking you about this particular passage, this particular thing. Here you said you made 2 shots in rapid succession.
Yes,
You painted a different picture on July 3rd, didn't you?
no,
You shot, you gave commands, and then you shot again.
That's the
How
truth.
can that be rapid succession?
because that's how it went in rapid succession.
You disagreed with me that it was a boom boom.
Yes,
So where's the time for the commands between the shots?
as I'm yelling them.
Well, that's not what you said. You said you pulled the trigger once. I kept giving commands. I pulled the trigger again.
Yes,
So they're 2 different assertions, aren't they?
no,
Okay. You gave a statement on July 3rd to the state police, right? A recorded statement?
yes,
You testified yesterday and today. What was your preparation like for this case? To come in here and testify.
I met up with Mr. Gubitosi, Attorney Gubitosi,
How many times?
I believe twice.
And when when were those meetings?
One was recently, I think last Thursday, and the one before, I can't remember.
And when did you start prepping your testimony?
On this past Thursday.
Well, you probably started prepping your testimony about 5 minutes after the shooting, didn't you?
No,
When was the first time you were questioned about what happened?
I think July 3rd.
So everyone left you alone until July 3rd?
Yes,
That is a long time after an incident like that. LG said so. Former Mass State Police. This is a big one, too. I think the DA office should have recused themselves on this, too.
When you were upstairs with Kelsey, she kept giving you things and asking you to take them downstairs, didn't she?
that's correct.
And she did that with Houston as well, right?
Yes,
So it's
See, this to me is the telltale that she was trying to get them out of there. She didn't want to target them. That wasn't her intent. This is what I leave with. Now, I'm going to play a little more of this. I'm going to step out for a minute. I'll be back because I definitely want to get to Tim Houston. So we're going
Fair
to
to
watch the
say
rest of
that,
this. This,
he
again,
was
for people just coming in, this is a review of this morning. This was testimony from earlier today for people who didn't get to see it. I'm just reviewing the most relevant testimony I felt of the day, which is these 2 police officers.
trying to get you away from her, right?
I don't know what her mindset was. I wasn't going to leave her alone.
Sure, let me ask you a better question. The effect of that would have been, if you took things downstairs, that you would have left her.
Yes, that's correct.
That's not consistent with her trying to kill you, is it? She's trying to get rid of you.
Can you ask that question again?
The fact that she's trying to remove you from the area where her gun is not consistent with her trying to kill you, is it?
At that point, no.
So let's get into the incident here, what you say happened. You say that Kelsey went into her bedroom after being in the baby's room, correct?
Yes,
She, you don't go in the room, right?
no, I stayed at the very top of the stairs right before the door frame.
So it's fair to say you're on the landing, the top of the stairs, looking into the room.
That's correct.
And the room's got a lot of furniture in it, a lot of things everywhere, right?
Yes.
So you say that Kelsey has a change in her demeanor, right?
Yes.
She starts to shake and get upset, shaking uncontrollably, you said, right?
Yes.
Then she lunges.
Yes.
She's on her knees.
She was, I believe, on her right knee.
You said that she pushed off her left leg and lunged, right?
Yes.
And at the time, you were 3 feet away from her,
Yes.
maybe less.
Maybe.
So can we agree that's arm's length?
She was a little further away than arm's length, I would say.
So arm's length if you reach over maybe. How about that?
Yes.
And your testimony is that she lunges over and obtains a gun,
Yes.
right? And she assumes a certain stance.
Can you elaborate?
Well, you were there. What stance did she assume?
She pointed a gun at my face and pulled the trigger.
And yesterday, when you were being questioned, you assumed a two-handed stance to show that, didn't you?
That's correct.
And what do you call that kind of a stance?
I don't know.
Is that like a modified Weaver stance?
Yes.
So she assumes a modified Weaver stance. Can you stand up and show a modified Weaver stance? That's just what it's called.
Okay.
Can you demonstrate to us what a modified Weaver stance looks like?
Do you want me to stand up and show you?
Please.
So are you asking him just in general?
Just to
or-
show the stance in general first. Yes, Judge. Thank you.
So she grabs it, comes up, pulls the trigger.
No, that's not, I don't think that's what he was asking you, but.
So just what's the modified Weaver stance? What is it?
Here.
And what, can you describe it? What are you doing when you do a modified Weaver stance?
Strong side. All right. So if I'm righty, this is my strong side. That's gonna grab the pistol, and I use my support hand to support the weapon.
Are you ready?
I'm sorry?
Are you ready?
I am.
You can have a seat. Thank you.
Thanks.
And you're saying that Ms. Fitzsimmons had the gun in that kind of a stance?
Yes.
And how far was the gun away from your face?
It was right outside of arm's length.
So she's 3 feet away. She assumes the modified Weaver stance, so she's probably another foot or two towards you, right?
She stepped to the left. I don't know if she stepped towards me.
Well, your testimony was that she immediately lifted the gun to you and
Yes.
pulled the trigger and tried to shoot you right in the face.
Yes.
So the gun didn't go off,
No.
and there she is with the gun there. The guns didn't go off, and you're within feet of her and the gun that didn't go off, right?
That's correct.
And you didn't just grab her, did you?
No, I was in complete shock. And then she started backpedaling immediately and trying to tap and rack that weapon.
Right, so your testimony is that Kelsey goes from a wounded bird shaking uncontrollably to a female movie action hero, doesn't she?
Those aren't my words.
That's your description of what happened, isn't it?
I didn't describe that either. in
So
those words.
she gets the gun, she tries to murder you in the face.
Yes.
5 minutes after she has her feed her baby,
Yes.
she pulls the trigger, nothing happens.
Yes. It went click.
She stands up, right?
She was already standing.
So as she's standing, she shoots you, she tries to shoot you in the face?
Yes. And then she started to backpedal.
So first she backpedals, then she sidesteps, she tap racks again, right?
Yes.
So in all this time, this is like the longest tap rack in history, isn't it?
It's 4 seconds.
So she gets up, she sidestep first or backpedal first?
Back pedals.
So she backpedals first.
And
How
then
many steps?
sidestep. I would say maybe 4 or 5, and then maybe another 3, 4, 5 to her left, which is my right.
So she goes into action. Is she tapping the magazine and then racking the gun while she's moving around?
Yes, she's a well-trained police officer
Who's a whack job?
who tried to kill me.
So let's get the order straight. You said that she backpedals first.
Yes, after she pulled the trigger.
And nothing happened.
Yes,
And then she taps the magazine
yes.
and then racks the slide.
I believe her hand slipped off. That's when she went in, and I was giving her commands, don't do it. And she re-racked and started to bring her right arm up.
And then she does it again, right?
Yes,
And you actually have no idea whether she successfully racked it the first time or successfully racked it the second time, correct?
that's correct.
You don't know what happened.
No, I don't.
And so it takes a few seconds to take 4 or 5 or whatever steps back towards the air conditioner, right?
From beginning to end, once she pulled the gun on me and pulled the trigger, and by the time I shot her, it was right around 4 seconds total, if not 3.5. It was very fast.
So she goes from shaking uncontrollably, sad about her situation, crying, to being pretty nimble.
She wasn't crying.
She walks, she backpedals, you said, right?
That's correct.
Then she sidesteps
Yes,
to the air conditioner. And you had a look of panic on your face at that time, didn't you?
no,
You were flustered, weren't you?
no.
Well, you were in shock 5 minutes later, weren't you?
After the incident and my adrenaline dumped, yeah, I was in shock then.
So, at the time, getting back to the incident, Kelsey's by the air conditioner. She's backpedaled, she sidestepped, she tapped, she racked, she tapped, she racked, and then you shoot her.
Yes,
And you shot 2 shots. Where are we on the rapid succession? Which one do you want to go with? Rapid succession, or you shot, gave commands, and shot again? Which is it?
I was given commands and shooting at the same time.
Okay. Well, your prior testimony was that you shot, you pulled the trigger, gave commands, and you pulled the trigger again.
Yes,
So was it that, or was it boom, boom, rapid succession?
it all happened in 4 seconds or less.
So you're a very well-trained SWAT officer, yes?
Yes,
You're a firearms instructor.
no,
You're a patrol instructor, where you instruct
What's a
other
patrol?
officers on the job, right?
field training officer.
Field training officer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And you've been doing this for 25 years,
No,
20 years.
right around there, yes.
Okay, so you've been doing this for 20 years. And one of your thought processes was that you wanted to give your training and experience back to the North Andover PD where you started, right?
Yes, and come back where I started.
And here, your first shot, you missed her from about 7 feet away.
I did. It was longer than 7 feet. It was at that point about 15 feet,
15 feet.
I would say.
Do you have any measurements on this?
No, but if you
15
remove the
feet?
bed and you were to walk diagonal from where I shot, it was probably around 15.
So the first shot, you missed her and you hit the air conditioner. Is that right? Or do you know?
I didn't know where it went.
Okay. And the fact is that we have only one spent projectile in this case, right?
I'm sorry?
We only have one spent projectile in this case, correct?
I don't know what state police collected.
You weren't curious as to any of the paperwork or anything that happened in the case?
I believe they told me that there was one on the bed and one on the floor, I think, but I don't know where that one projectile comes from.
Did you know that there was one in the curtain next to the air conditioner?
No.
Have you looked at any photos from this at all?
Some, yes.
You didn't know that?
Nope.
May I approach her?
Yes.
Just the photo.
Yes.
Do you have some? Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm going to show you for the record, Exhibit 49, sir. See that?
Yes, that's the entrance to her bedroom.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of kind of the stuff that was there at the time?
I didn't see any of that at the time because I was facing forward. That's at a completely different angle.
Well, that's the area where you say that she lunged to, right?
There, yes, that would have been my left. Yep.
Now, at some point, there was a safe there, wasn't there? A green safe.
I have no idea what was there.
Didn't you speak with Officer Core at the scene?
Yes, I did.
And Officer Core, you said that you ordered him to do something. You remember that?
I did.
You ordered him to take the gun and get it out of there?
Secure it.
And what were you doing at the time you ordered him to do that?
Rendering aid to Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
So you're over by the bed. He would have had to go in that area to get the firearm and secure it, right?
So I placed the firearm. You can't see the right side of the door frame. So if you were to walk into that bedroom and look right, there's some sort of I don't know, nightstand or something. I put the weapon right there.
I'll show you Exhibit 75. Is this the?
Oh, it's the
stand?
white. Yes, yes, it's it.
Is that where you put the firearm?
On top of that.
Now let's just go over
It's exhibit what?
75, Your Honor.
Thank you.
So let's talk about who touched the firearm. So Daly picks up the firearm, right?
Yes.
And the firearm was under Kelsey's leg, correct?
I don't know where it was. I was covering down. I know he flipped her over and found the weapon. I don't recall where it was.
Okay. You heard, strike that. So your testimony is that Kelsey's racking the gun, sidestepping, backpedaling, tap rack, and at some point she points the gun at you, right?
Her arm started to come up towards me.
Okay. So it's fair to say that she's back again, like we said earlier. She's starting to do this, right?
No Weaver stance.
Okay, so one hand.
It was.
Is that the FBI crouch? What do you call that? Is that
A one-handed.
okay? It's not called the FBI crouch?
I've never heard that term.
Okay. So she starts to point the gun at you. So we agree then that the gun is out in front of her, right?
It was in the upward position. It was coming up towards me. When I fired my second round, I saw her kind of buckle, and she lowered her weapon, and I stopped shooting, and then she went to the ground.
You hit her in the chest, she goes flying back and lands on her back, right?
She didn't go flying back.
She landed on her back, correct?
She went down to the ground. I don't know which way she went. I think she crouched over.
Well, you knew she was on her back, didn't you?
I don't remember. As far as that goes, that's kind of a blur.
So the idea that she's got the gun out in front of her, she falls on her back. If the gun's underneath her, is this some sort of a magic gun?
I don't know where you're getting at.
Doesn't it make sense that if the gun is out here and she receives a force of a 9mm bullet pushing her back this way, how does the gun get all the way behind her and under her leg?
I have no idea. It's the way she fell.
So back to the notion of who touches the gun. Daly picks up the gun, right?
Yes.
Daly puts it on the bed, correct?
Yes.
And you don't like that?
I don't. It's too close to her.
Okay. Well, she's sitting there with a gunshot wound to her chest with you there and Daly there. Isn't that fair to say?
Yes.
So then you touch the gun, right?
I do.
And then you move it to the white shelf, bookshelf.
Yes.
And then Core arrives, and
Yes.
then you tell Core to grab the gun and secure it, right?
I do.
We got most of his testimony. We can do another 10 minutes or so with him, but I want to skip ahead to this last section right here. Let's get this, because I saw all of Noonan's testimony, and you get a flavor for it. And it's getting late. I said I wouldn't be going beyond 7 p.m. It's already 7:22, so I'm going to go to the last cop that I really wanted to watch today.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this cause now and hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
And I'll be right back. I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm stuck.
Into this microphone so the judge can hear you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Sir, in a loud, clear voice, can you please introduce yourself? Spell your first name and your last name.
Officer Timothy Houston, TIMOTHYHOUSTON.
And, sir, what do you do for a living?
Patrol officer with North Andover Police Department.
How long have you been doing that?
A little over 5 years.
Just gonna ask you to keep your voice up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, did you, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in North Andover
Did you go through the North Andover school system?
up until high school.
And where'd you go?
I went to Central Catholic.
After Central Catholic, what did you do?
I went to Norwich University and got a bachelor's in criminal justice.
After you graduated there, what did you do?
I went to the Army. I was in the Army for 4.5 years, reached the rank of sergeant, and then came home, joined the North Andover Police Department.
And so when was that you joined the PD?
Started the academy in November of 2020.
And your rank now, you're a patrol officer?
Patrol officer.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your duties as a patrol officer?
I worked a 4 to 12 shift. I started on midnights. I've been on 4 to 12. I think it's my 3rd year. It's basically if you're not answering calls, you're on the road, watching traffic, things of that nature.
Jump back for a second and just talk about your military service. You were in the Army, you said?
That's correct.
Okay. And what did you do there?
I was a cavalry scout.
And what did that entail?
I mean, I had different positions. The job itself, you mainly focus on reconnaissance. But while I was there, I started as a dismount, and then I moved up to a gunner, and then I was a dismount team leader, and then I was a gunner for the lieutenants in the platoon. That's pretty much it.
Where were you stationed?
I was at Fort Lewis, Washington.
Now we're going to jump back to the PD, okay? Do you know a person by the name of Kelsey Fitzsimmons?
I do.
How do you know her?
We worked together briefly. I mean, she was in the academy. I can't remember how long she was out of the academy, but she was FTOing for a while, and she was FTOing on my shift. And then she finished FTO, and she worked on our shift for a brief period of time.
Okay. FTO, what do you mean by that?
So she was under a field training officer. So she was riding around with somebody while she got used to the job, learned.
Did she ever ride around with you?
No, she did not.
Okay. Did you know her socially at all?
Yeah. I was invited to her wedding. We kept in touch when she went on leave. Tried to keep her in the loop. Spoke with her, kind of, you know, trying to get everybody together before her wedding. Her wedding was a decent amount of time away, and while she was out of work, we obviously didn't see her as much. So we had been working on planning something with some of the guys from work, people bringing their spouses, their dogs, and trying to figure out something, but it never happened.
Okay. Did you know her fiance?
I met him at the engagement party. Other than that, I'd see him, on calls if we had the FD, but I don't know him that well.
Okay. So I'm going to turn your attention to June 30th of last year. Were you working that day?
Yes.
Okay. And at some point, did you get in touch by Lieutenant Daly?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the nature of that communication?
He called me and said, Justin filed an RO against Kelsey. He wanted me and Officer Noonan to go to the house and serve the RO, which required Justin picking up their baby and confiscating our firearms.
Okay. How did he get in touch with you? Do you remember?
By cell phone.
Okay. Did he ask you to do anything in particular about Officer Noonan?
Initially, he told me to drive past Kelsey's house and see if she was home.
Okay. Did you do that?
I did.
And you knew where she lived?
Yes.
Did she park in a particular place usually?
So normally, yes, she would park in front of her house if she was home. I found her car 50 to 100 yards down the road, kind of in the school lot, kind of tucked away.
Okay. Did you relay that information to Lieutenant Daly at that point?
I did.
Okay. And at the point that you saw her car, had you already talked to Officer Noonan?
After I called Lieutenant Daly and told him about her car being out of, parked in a strange way, I called Officer Noonan.
Okay. And what did you tell him?
I said, hey, you know what's going on? He hadn't talked to Lieutenant Daly yet, so he had no idea what was going on. So I told him to meet me in the parking lot, and I'd go over it with him.
And did he do that?
He did.
Did he get there before Lieutenant Daly did, if you remember?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Did you inform him of what was going on?
I did.
At some point, did Lieutenant Daly also meet up with you in that particular spot?
Yes.
Okay. Did you talk about a plan as to how you were going to handle serving the order?
My only memory is what I updated Officer Noonan with, just the circumstances of why we're going there and concerns that we had, but I don't remember what the exact plan was. I think it was assumed that Lieutenant Daly would do most of the talking.
Okay. And you said your concerns. What were your concerns?
We were aware that she had been sectioned before, so, obviously it's a tough position for her, finding out, there's an order in place, we're taking her firearms, we had to take the baby, give them to Justin, so that we thought with her past being sectioned, she might not take that news very well, and, we weren't sure what was going to happen.
Okay. Had you served restraining orders yourself before?
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you go over to 125 Phillips Brook Road?
Yes, we did.
And the three of you?
Yes.
Did you go in together?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell us what happened as you approached the house? And take us from there.
So we parked off to the side of the house, out of view of the house itself. We walked around, knocked on the front door, or the side porch door, whatever.
Had you ever been in that home before?
I don't think I'd ever been in the home, no.
When you knocked or rang, I'm sorry, I forget what you said.
I don't remember.
Okay, did someone answer?
Yes, Kelsey answered.
Okay, did she
The
have?
last
baby
one.
with her?
She did.
The last
So what
one.
happened
I
then?
grabbed it. Sorry.
She wasn't sure why we were there. Lieutenant Daly kind of had the paperwork in his hand. She invited us in, and Lieutenant Daly just started explaining why we were there and what was going on.
Okay. Where in the house did you go?
So we went into the living room.
Okay. Did you remain standing? Was she seated? What happened with the baby? Can you describe what happened there?
So Lieutenant Daly asked her to take a seat on one of the couches, had her put the baby in like a rocker on the floor, and I stood kind of away from them by another couch.
Okay. Could you hear what they were saying?
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly what was said, but
What was the gist?
Justin filed this order. She was shocked by it. Lieutenant Daly was doing his best to, mediate and tell her, this is what has to happen now, but you're going to have your day in court. Like nothing's, we're going to figure this out.
Did you look around the living room at all? At that
Yes,
point?
I did.
And did you notice something?
Yes. So on the couch I was near, there was clothes everywhere. And I could see a handgun case sticking out. And before that, Lieutenant Daly had asked Kelsey where her firearms were. She said they're in the basement. And while they were having that discussion, I saw the handgun case, picked it up, opened it, it was empty, and Kelsey reassured me that they were in the basement.
Okay. So that was the second time she said they were in the basement.
Yes.
How soon after you got in there was that question asked about where the guns were, if you remember?
Almost immediately.
Okay. That was one of the first questions?
Yes.
What happened next?
We told her that, or Lieutenant Daly told her that Justin's going to come and pick up the baby. So she said, how long is he going to have him? I need to pack for him. So me and Lieutenant Daly began following Kelsey as she packed for the baby.
Okay. And did she do anything with the baby when you guys were following her around, if you remember?
I believe at that time, Officer Noonan was holding the baby.
Now, you said you were following her around the house?
That's correct.
Was it? Why was that?
It was still, we were still a little bit on edge. She had to go to the kitchen. I remember when me and Lieutenant Daly followed her in the kitchen, I was concerned because there was butcher knives all along the kitchen. That was just something that stood out to me.
Okay. Was it your intention for you or another officer to be with her the entire time?
That's correct.
Is that standard practice when you're have similar concerns?
Correct.
After you went into the kitchen, do you remember where you went?
I believe we went upstairs. Me, Kelsey, Lieutenant Daly, briefly came back downstairs, and then we went into the other side room. I think it's like an exercise room.
At any point, if you remember, did the defendant make a call?
Yes, at some point she called her mother.
So after you came downstairs, at some point did you take possession of the baby?
That's correct.
And what happened while you were holding the baby? Anything?
Yeah, so I took the baby from Officer Noonan, which Kelsey asked me to do, which I did. Kelsey told me, why don't you take him for a walk? He likes to look at the cars. I told her, I said I'd take the baby, but I wasn't going to leave. So I took the baby out on the porch, and the baby was crying, so I was doing my best with the baby. And at that point, her mom showed up.
Through that same door you guys had come in?
Correct.
Okay. And so what did you do when she came?
I peeked in, I told Lieutenant Daly, like, the mom's here, why don't we give her the baby? And we invited the mom in.
After the mom came in and you handed the baby to her, did you stay in the immediate area or did you go somewhere?
So once the mom came in, she was pretty upset with us, but Lieutenant Daly explained the situation to her. So at that point, me and Officer Noonan followed Kelsey upstairs so she could pack more things.
Describe upstairs, if you would.
There's a landing. It's a T
Hold
hallway.
on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay.
You go up the stairs, there's a landing, and there's a room off to the left and a room off to the right.
And could you describe the room off to the left?
It's got I believe it's the baby's room, has a crib in it.
And how about the room to the right?
That would be Kelsey's bedroom.
Now, you said you followed her up there. Did she go in any one particular room
She moved between both the rooms.
while you were up there?
Correct.
And what was she doing?
She was packing. At some point, she mentioned that Justin doesn't have a car seat, so she handed me a car seat. I was holding it, started putting more and more stuff in there, and at some point I put it down.
Why'd you put it down?
I didn't want to have my hands tied up.
That's later, after the fact. We have a poll in our live chat right now. The poll is Kelsey guilty, not guilty, or you're not sure? Right now, not guilty leads 57%. Second place is not sure. A quarter of you, 26% say not sure. Guilty, only 16%. So the large majority are either not guilty, 57% right now, or not sure at 26%. Wild to see that most people think she's not guilty. That's what you're seeing in the chat, in the poll. But they didn't take it to a jury. I don't know. It could be a mistake. We'll see very soon.
And did that continue for some bit?
Briefly, at some point, she heard a female's voice downstairs, and she made a comment to me. She said, "Who's downstairs, my baby?" I said, "I believe it's your mom. I mean, we were just there." And she said, "That's not my mom's voice." And I got the sense that she wanted me to go downstairs and check, but I just kind of dismissed it at the time.
Okay. And so you stayed up there.
I stayed up
Do you
there.
remember which room?
Joe Biffle's been gone all day. People have been asking for him. He came in throwing heat. Oh my God, Joe! I can't even put your tweet. I can't post your post on the YouTube tonight. It would cause too much drama. Too much Biffle tonight. Holy shit, Biffle! Biffle came out of nowhere. Just threw down. He don't care. Biffle, you better be careful. YouTube might zap you for that comment. That's a Jesus Christ. It's not me. Oh, actually, one of my mods already deleted it. You got deleted by one of the mods. I knew it. Holy shit, Biffle. Your troll game is on tonight. He doesn't care. He's throwing down. He's been gone all day. People were asking, where's Biffle? Biffle shows up, throws one comment. Our mods take it down. Oh.
That was right at the landing, so she had moved.
Fucking Biffa.
Back to her bedroom, and as she was coming across,
Biffa.
she had mentioned.
I love my Biffa.
And at some point up there, I'd found another handgun case.
Yeah, it's a little too
Where
much.
was that?
Over the line, Biff.
Which room it was in.
Okay. And did you look into it?
I opened it, and she
Jesus,
saw me open
Biff.
it, and she said, "I already told you they're in the basement."
Was there anything in it?
There was nothing in it.
At some point, was your attention drawn downstairs again?
Correct.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So at some point, Justin came. Kelsey heard his voice, and she said, "I I don't want him in the house. And at that point, I thought the only thing that was gonna escalate the situation is them two in the house together at the same point. So I
Oh,
wanted
damn,
to
Biffle.
help Kelsey out, so I told her I'd go tell Justin to leave.
Okay, where were you when this conversation happened?
Between me and Kelsey, we were still upstairs.
Okay, and was Officer Noonan also with you?
Yeah,
So did you go downstairs?
I did.
Okay, Officer Noonan stay up with Kelsey?
Correct.
Where is she at this point, if you remember?
She was either in her room or at the landing, but I couldn't be certain. But when we had that conversation, we were at the landing. And I'm
Okay. You went downstairs,
correct.
and what did you do when you went downstairs?
So when I went downstairs, I only saw Lieutenant Daly, the mom, and I told him, Kelsey doesn't want Justin in the house. And he said, all right, Justin's, I don't know if he said he's in the basement or he's coming up from the basement. He said, just go to the basement and tell him just to wait outside.
Okay, so where'd you go?
I walked past Lieutenant Daly and Kelsey's mom through the kitchen where the basement, the top of the stairs is, and I opened that door.
Could you see down?
So it was, the lights were off. I flicked the light to turn the lights on. The lights didn't turn on. So
Could you hear anything downstairs?
I couldn't hear anything, and I remember after I flicked the lights on, they didn't go on, and I'm looking at a pitch black basement. I thought there was a chance I misheard Lieutenant Daly, and I just kind of stood there. I was like, I really don't want to walk down there if he's not down there, but I don't know how I was just kind of having like a moment where I wasn't sure whether or not to check with Lieutenant Daly.
Okay. Did something happen at that point?
Yeah, so at that point, I heard Officer Noonan yell, Kelsey, and then I heard 2 gunshots.
What did you do?
I ran back the way I came. At that point, it was only Kelsey's mom. She was still in the living room. Lieutenant Daly was gone. He'd already gone upstairs, and I started making my way upstairs.
Okay. When you were making your way upstairs, could you see anybody at the top of the landing?
I could see Officer Noonan.
And what happened as you went up?
So, I mean, I knew it was gunshots. I came over the air and I said, start medics. I don't know if that got caught or someone else was calling at the same time, but I had my pistol out and I was going up the stairs. I saw Noonan and I said, like, "Are you good up there? What was that?" And I can't remember exactly what he said at that point.
Can you give us the gist of what he said?
At that point, he said, yeah, he looked like he was still in shock. He said, yeah, so I kept moving up towards him, and as I got closer to him, I was like, what just happened? He said, she pulled a gun on me, and we talked about it later, but at that point, that's what he said.
That's fine right there, actually.
Okay,
Just didn't want anything further.
okay.
Thank you.
Do you remember the exact words he used?
So the exact words he used would be after the FD and we had gone into the other room and spoken. But at that exact moment, that I don't even.
What's the basis?
So, I'm not, I guess it's a vague question because I don't know what he's referring to in terms of what conversation, how long is it after the incident, what's the demeanor, what's the purpose of it being offered for? There's a lot to unpack here.
All right, well, what the answer was didn't include hearsay. It just was that I think it was something to the effect that later on they went in the kitchen, but maybe he and Noonan and had a discussion, something to that effect, but the objection is overruled.
So the fact of the discussion, I don't object to, but just any further, I'm trying to stop it from coming out. Thank you.
Would the exact words that he used when you first ran up the stairs, would it help you to remember if you looked at a report?
I know he did say, she pointed the gun at me, pulled the trigger and racked the slide. Whether it was right when I was moving up the stairs or once everything got situated, it was in that time frame, but I can't remember if it was exactly when I got to the top of the stairs or
Okay,
Motion to strike the testimony.
would looking at a report help you remember that?
Hold on a second, there's an objection to strike one.
Non-responsive, it's, I don't know what conversation he's talking about. It's hearsay and
All right, well,
frankly news to the defense.
okay, so first things first, on the hearsay issue, Mr. Gubitosi,
I'm trying to establish that it happened seconds after the event.
so for the truth of the matter or state of mind?
Both.
Okay. And so, to the extent that you're seeking to offer for the truth of the matter, it's hearsay. And I think, didn't we already litigate the spontaneous utterance?
No, that was a different time frame.
Oh, that was a different, all right. So are you arguing that this should be admitted as a spontaneous utterance?
Yes.
Okay. And then the rest of your objections that is within there, let's just take them a step at a time. Let's get through the spontaneous utterance. So, Mr. Bradel, what do you say on the spontaneous utterance?
So I think there's certainly a lack of foundation, Judge, where there's been two different overlapping statements that are referenced here. I don't know where they're going back to here. It needs to be clarified foundationally what happened before the statement, how long after the shots it was, what were the circumstances of that particular first statement they want to try to use.
So
That's what I asked for.
I agree with Mr. Bradel that it's the foundation right now, and it's not the witnesses, it's fault. The foundation right now, to me, is confusing because he's having trouble remembering which conversation.
I do understand that. That's why I'm looking to approach with the report,
Okay,
to refresh his memory, yes.
All right, well, why don't you do that, and we'll take it a step at a time.
Just going to ask you to look.
Just so you know, for right now, I'm not going to strike the testimony because it can come in for state of mind. The issue is whether it comes in for the truth.
Thank you.
Does that help you remember the timing of that statement?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, when did that statement happen?
So that statement happened when I got to the top of the stairs.
Right,
I don't know what statement it is because he's
sure, I'll ask him.
He's recited two different statements. Again, I'm not casting aspersions, but it was, she pulled a gun on me, or she pointed a gun, wrapped trigger, etc. So if you can have them clarify.
Sure. What statement did you hear when you ran up the stairs the first time?
So she pointed a gun at me. I'm speaking from Officer Noonan's perspective. Pointed a gun.
I can't hear
She
you.
pointed the gun at Officer Noonan, pulled the trigger, and then racked the slide.
All right, and there's an objection to that coming in for truth of the matter?
I just have one moment.
Sure, take your time.
Judge, there's still a lack of foundation here, Your Honor. Now he's saying something different than what he said 2 answers ago about what the statement was. So this is...
We can't have a firearm right now. It's part of our bail conditions.
In terms of any sort of reliability preliminary finding of any of this, it's all over the place. He just said something completely different than what he said before.
He's now clarified it, so we're beyond that. And so he's now has identified the statement, identified where it was made, when it was made. There was some mention before about the declarant state of mind. So I guess what I'm politely saying is you need to move beyond that. So now the issue for me is, does that statement come in for the truth of the matter? And
Judge, I think that I'll reiterate my arguments from the earlier discussion about the other accessory Your Honor, that this isn't like a domestic violence situation where someone is, you know, a battered woman or something, where the time frame is much more flexible. And in this situation, you have an officer-involved shooting that happens. Another fellow investigating officer comes right up there, and there's a huge motive to fabricate immediately, Your Honor, that something happened that covers the officer, covers the shooting officer, versus being under the influence of the event so that you're not fabricating. There's an immediate impulse here that this officer has to cover his future. He has to cover his conduct right away. There doesn't need to be much time to realize that from an officer who jumps the gun, from an officer who panics and shoots someone in the wrong circumstances. That's something that would immediately happen. And particularly where there's no surrounding corroboration, where there's no attempt by the government or no testimony from Noonan that this happened. This is something completely different that the statement happened, that this interaction with Houston happened. There's extremely unreliable circumstances. If that really happened, Noonan would have testified to it. If that really happened, the government would have given me discovery on it. If that really happened, it would have been corroborated. So,
All right, so the discovery, the lack of discovery or argument is a different matter. Anything else on, again, on just the Commonwealth's assertion that it qualifies as a spontaneous utterance?
no, Your Honor, just the notion that it's not a domestic violence situation. It's a situation where the motive to fabricate immediately arises. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Gubitosi, anything further on that?
This is exactly what the exception is for. It couldn't have been more immediate unless Officer Houston was standing next to Officer Noonan when it happened. He immediately heard the shots, immediately heard the yell, and ran up the flight of stairs that you've seen pictures of, and asked what happened, and got that response. So that's my answer to that. And as far as, I think I have to, since we're on the record, talk about a discovery violation. We're not there yet.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, let's just take it a step at a time. All right, anything else?
No, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to sustain the objection, but for reasons different than Mr. Bradle articulated, and essentially for the same reasons that I stated yesterday to Attorney Moriarty, and that is that when I weigh the factors under Baldwin, I come out that it militates towards excluding it for the truth of the matter. It will come in for state of mind. We don't need to get to alleged discovery violations or any other reasons because I've sustained the objection. Unless you want to make a record.
It was part of his recorded interview that they've had since the beginning.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Now,
So-
sir, after you heard Officer Noonan tell you that she pulled out a pistol, pulled the trigger, and racked around, where did you go?
At that point, I was at the landing. I looked in, and I saw Kelsey on the ground, and I saw Lieutenant Daly over her.
What was he doing? Anything?
It looked like he was kind of evaluating her. I moved towards them. I asked either Noonan or Lieutenant Daly. I said, "Where's the gun?" I believe I asked Noonan, and he motioned away from Kelsey, so that stopped being my concern. I moved close to Lieutenant Daly just to see what level of consciousness Kelsey was. I could see she was breathing, she was alert. So I told Lieutenant Daly I was going to go get a med bag.
Was she saying anything?
She kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
And so, where did you go?
I ran down to get the medical bag out of my cruiser.
Okay. Did you get it?
I did.
Did you come back?
I did.
And what did you do when you came back?
I threw the medical bag on the bed, and I started taking stuff out. I took out the AED, I took out gauze, wraps, stuff like that, handed it to Lieutenant Daly.
Okay. Sure.
Lean back on him, huh? Little lean back.
All right, thank you, all set.
I'm going to jump back just just a minute. When you went up the stairs and you saw Officer Noonan, did he have his gun out?
The med bag or before that?
First time.
First time, he had it out.
And how was he holding it?
He had it at the low ready, so he had it kind of down towards the ground.
Pointing to the ground?
Yes.
Do you see Kelsey Fitzsimmons in the courtroom here today?
I do.
Can you point to her and describe an article of clothing she's wearing?
She's wearing like a beige sweater.
May the record reflect she's identified the defendant?
It may.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
There we go with Bradle.
Examination?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
You said that Ms.
Looks upset.
Fitzsimmons initially exhibited a lack of certainty, or that she was unsure why you were there, correct?
Correct.
And how was that manifested?
She just looked surprised. Her eyes were wide.
Wow, Kelsey looked really upset there. Did you see that? She looked really distressed by this testimony. It seemed like she might have had more of a relationship with this officer than some of the others because they were on the same shift together. And he was keeping her updated when she was out.
She didn't, I guess it's the best way I could describe it.
Now, you were with her for a good amount of time during this interaction, right?
Correct.
And it's true that she tried to kind of get you away from her a couple of times?
That's what I believe, yes.
She gave you the baby and said maybe go out on the porch or take him for a walk?
Correct.
And then she also put some, tried to put some things in your hands and asked you to take them downstairs?
She didn't ask me to take them downstairs. She just put them in my hand
And where did that occur?
on the landing
Upstairs?
upstairs.
And you said that you heard Officer Noonan yell, "Kelsey,"
Correct.
and that's all?
That's all.
One time?
One time.
And how about after after you said Kelsey, how long of a time elapsed until the gunshots?
I couldn't put an exact time. It wasn't instant, but it was relatively quick.
Relatively quick. How about the gunshots themselves? It was 2 gunshots, right?
2 gunshots.
Were they in quick succession?
Yeah, pretty quick.
And you said that Ms. Fitzsimmons said, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry."
Correct.
Did she say, "I'm sorry, I tried to kill myself"?
She did not say that.
Just, "I'm sorry"?
I'm sorry. 3 times.
Now, was there a plan before this to section Kelsey?
No.
You mentioned that you had known that she was sectioned before, right?
Correct.
And that was several months prior, wasn't it?
I don't know exactly when it was.
Okay, so it's fair to say that you don't really have any grasp of the details of that incident, do you?
I do not.
And you don't know whether it had anything to do with the police or not, do you?
I know there was police there, but I don't know the circumstances of what happened.
Okay, so you don't know how long it was?
No.
And you don't even know whether she was in fact accepted as a Section 12 commitment, do you?
No idea.
And so Do you know the difference between having forms filled out to be looked at under Section 12 versus being accepted and committed under Section 12?
Yeah, so I didn't want to, like I said, I was invited to her wedding. I was friends with Kelsey.
No, that's not my question.
Okay.
I asked you some stuff about Section 12.
I know if you get sectioned, you're going to be there for probably 72 hours and you can't leave.
And do you have any idea whether that happened in March?
I have no idea.
So it's fair to say that other than kind of the notion floating around in your department that she was sectioned, you really have no information whatsoever about it, isn't that right?
No, I didn't want to know.
And then you said something about the knives in Ms. Fitzsimmons' kitchen?
Correct.
Be interesting to see if this comes up tomorrow. If Kathleen Gerke, I think her name is, the police officer that sued the North Andover police, if she gets called as a witness, she's on the defense witness list. This might get called up. This might get brought up tomorrow. Law nerd, you know, it could be something that comes up tomorrow. Well, we shall see. It's going to be interesting to see the witnesses. Is Kelsey Fitzsimmons on that list? Is that Officer Gerke on that list? Who testifies actually for the defense tomorrow? That's the interesting part now.
What's the status of the knives in Ms. Fitzsimmons' kitchen?
Just at that point, I wasn't sure what was going to happen, so I didn't want her to reach for a knife. It's nothing against her. It's just it's a lot of information to take in. I didn't know how she was going to react.
Okay, so was there something strange about the knives that were in her kitchen?
No, it's just a weapon in the kitchen.
So when you're serving one of these things, anything can be a weapon, right? Any normal household product item can be a weapon, right?
I wouldn't say anything.
A lot of things. How about that?
Yeah, let's go with that.
And in this case, there were knives in her kitchen. Is there anything more to it than that?
Nope, that's it.
One moment, please, Your
Yes.
And Kelsey's telling him something. What is she telling him right now? This is the part that I missed earlier. It's getting cold out tonight. I think I started talking about hot tubs. I started thinking I need a hot tub. This is pretty much it. I think this is pretty much it. Now Martha's talking to Bradle. Kelsey's talking to Bradle. What are they showing Bradle right now?
Thank you, nothing further.
Okay. And any redirect?
Yeah, just briefly.
That's
A lot of
it.
things could be weapons, correct?
Correct.
So that's why you don't leave someone alone, right?
Correct.
That's why you keep eyes on them the whole time.
Correct.
That's why you use the term in their pocket while they're walking around, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any recross?
Nothing further.
Okay, all right, you may step down. And Cromwell, can you call your next witness?
All right, I'm going to leave it there. I could play some more, but I think we've had enough today. I think we have had enough today. If you missed any testimony, you can go watch it on our live stream from earlier today. I know Simon was asking to hear the next witness. I don't have it in me. You can watch it though. Go watch it on the stream from earlier today if you want to catch up. Thank you, What the Duck. Thank you, Squab Bob. Love it. Thank you, Simon, of course. And Law Talkers. Appreciate all the super chats today. A lot of super chats came in this morning. Much appreciated. Yeah, you can watch. It's the last. I think the one you want to watch is the last witness of the day. Yeah, that's what I like about our chat today. Not everyone agrees. We're able to disagree mostly respectfully. And we all got freaked out by Biffle. I had my nervous laughter about Biffle. That was a little much. Biffle is crossing lines right now. I don't know. What do we do about our Biffle? We have a Biffle issue now. I like what Juna Perkins said. What is a Biffle? What is a Biffle? God damn, Biffle. I like having a troll that we can have in the chat that we like, but sometimes Biffle goes over that line. 66% not guilty right now in the Young Jerks poll right now. 19% say not sure. Only 15% think she's guilty. Wow. So our audience at least thinks she's not guilty. Take his wrench away, Sherry says. Uh-oh. We may have to take a wrench away. I don't know. We already have him on double secret probation. He got timed out tonight, didn't he? I think Sarah probably timed him out or deleted the comment. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my other mods. Yeah, I'll see you in the morning. I don't know what time. It sounds like, I'm guessing they're going to go do the site visit in the morning and then do testimony after. That's what it sounds like. And then Thursday, closing statements. That's what it seems like. So we'll be live whenever court starts tomorrow. Whether that's 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. I wouldn't doubt if it's like a 10:30, 11 if they go early at 9. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this schedule-wise works tomorrow. Oh, you didn't time him out. He probably should have got timed out for that one. You were tempted. You do what you think is right, Sarah. Yeah, keep Biffle, but he needs a babysitter. Sarah is the babysitter, and I think I am. Sarah and I are babysitting Biffle here. Very true, law nerd. You know. Yeah, get your notifications set for tomorrow. There's a new stream set up for tomorrow. Hit the notification. Make sure you hit all notifications when you sub to us. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, share. Getting a lot of new subscribers the last couple days. Thank you so much to all of our new subs here. Yeah, I think I need a babysitter too. I know, that's the thing I can't figure out. Is the site schedule for Thursday or is it tomorrow? I don't know. It was very confusing. I'm seeing some media reports are saying the site visit is tomorrow. I don't know. I think we're all confused by that. The judge wasn't very clear. We'll find out tomorrow. If not tonight. We'll see what happens. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow. Babysitting a grown-ass man is always a nope for me. I know, right? Come on. Yeah, that was a bridge too far. Especially with this. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow in the morning. If I don't see you in a chat or a space tonight, who knows? I might end up on a space again tonight. Late night space last night. I don't plan to do it tonight. We'll see what happens. I did a lot today. Yeah, Sarah is the boss. Don't fuck with Sarah. Yeah, good night, jerks. Thank you to mods, and I'll see you in the morning. Peace out.